it is time to code, theoretically. We are doing the part 2. Let me move over here. The part 2 of Godot stuff. Let's see. Okay, that is correct. So, this is annoying because I have 2 separate sets of Godot open right now. Because my VTuber program was not wanting to behave. Actually, do boop and boop. Make sure we're good. Yes. Okay. So, do. Are you ready? Maybe.
You know it. Sorry. I had to like navigate back to Discord.
Okay, let me.
I was born ready though.
I have like way too many fucking things open. Okay, let me see. Is that a good position for that? Sure. Okay. And then I'll screen share in Discord so you can observe what I'm doing more quickly.
My slow brain needs the added help.
Okay. So, where were we? Oh yeah, so I guess we left off. We were trying to spawn another copy of the slime, and then kind of all hell broke loose.
Yeah, it turns out you need to have the right version of things installed.
You know, I could have put you through more hell because they just released the new version of Godot and it supports newer versions of .NET.
Oh. Well, the actual issue was that we had the x84. I needed not x84, right?
Oh yeah, that always fucking trips me up of like x86 versus 64.
86. That's what it was.
Because I don't know, my mind, it's always backwards for some reason. I always think that x86 should be the 64-bit and that x64 is the 32-bit, but it's not, or it is. I never remember.
You would think it would increase like in that order, to be fair.
Yeah. Well, because the reason why x86 is a term is because that's based off of the 8086 CPU from like 1980 something, which is when like the original x86 CPU instruction set and original x86 or 8086 CPU came out. And basically everything since then has just been built and kludged together on top of that instruction set from like the 80s.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a whole thing. CPUs are funny.
Oh yeah, I've heard some very interesting things about CPUs the last few days.
Oh, all the CPUs exploding.
Yeah, I just learned about that Intel node thing where the chips are just killing themselves.
Oh yeah, it's.
And then I panic because I have an i9, and I'm like, oh no, maybe that's why I'm having issues.
Yeah, it further allows me to justify being a contrarian and buying AMD everything instead of Nvidia and Intel.
Yeah, I think my next PC build is gonna try the other side.
Yeah, I mean honestly, AMD, if you do any like high CPU intensive workload stuff that can benefit from multi-threading, AMD is honestly the way to go. Like, what do I have? I've got a Ryzen 5 5600X. So that's 12 cores, 24 threads at 3.7 gigahertz. And that thing chews through Blender workloads. Like, night and day difference between what I have now and the like previous CPU I had. I would have gone for a slightly better one, but this is the newest that my motherboard can handle. So next time I buy a CPU, I actually have to finally upgrade my motherboard.
Oh, that's a sad day.
Yeah.
So that means everything has to come off and
Yeah. I have to dismantle
oh
fucking everything. And then
yeah.
and then I'm stuck with the classic conundrum of, oh, I have old PC hardware. If I buy a couple extra parts, I could turn that into another working PC. And then I end up with yet another computer on my shelf downstairs running more things on the server rack.
Oh yeah, I was about to say, just turn that into a server, call it a day.
Yeah. How many do I have? One. I guess I only have four right now.
Only, huh?
Yeah. Well, one's the AI server, one's the like 7 terabyte, or I guess it's 12 terabyte NAS in like RAID 1, and then
Mm-hmm.
a couple other ones that run like just random other crap. I think one of them is the Valheim server.
Oh,
And,
nice.
and then they pretty much all run Minecraft servers at one point or another.
I think that's kind of like the introductory for any new
Oh yeah.
server. Gotta make sure you put Minecraft on it. The canon event for every new server.
Okay, so I have a couple things here that I was writing out last time of like potential things that we can program to kind of tour around different things that you can do in Godot. Um, and then I'll ask you of what other things you would want it to be able to do. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to spawn slimes, which will teach us how to instance a scene. Um, then I want to show how to deal with animation tracks in from a blend file. So our slime here, show how to deal with those tracks inside of Godot.
Okay.
And then that will also tell us how to lerp animation tracks from code. The Twitch connection setup, I'll probably just like give you all this code off stream because you're not going to learn anything from typing it all out. And
Right. I think I might have my Twitch API key already. I did tool around with the bot in the past that I made, but I don't know if I need a different one.
yeah, I'll have to
If I can
see.
set the one.
I'll have to
Okay.
retrace my steps to see how I did it. Because I know for one Twitch integration program, I had to go make a like special application key, but I think you can just do it. Yeah, no, because I think you just do it through OAuth in this. But yeah, I'll give you that stuff offline separately.
Okay.
Just because, yeah, you're not going to learn anything important from it, and it pretty much will stay the same no matter what. So it's not like there's anything to customize there. Swapping cameras. So from code being able to like change to a different camera perspective. So like in my VTuber program, I can like go from like the portrait view here. I can do the free cam view or the like stream starting cam. And then those are all different keys that I can press that swap between those. So being able to do that. So I don't know what other things can you think of that you'd want to be able to do?
Um,
And if you can't think of anything, you don't have to think about it right this
yeah,
minute. Putting you
put
on
on
the
the spot suddenly. I
Yeah.
completely forgot everything I wanted this to accomplish.
And as you get into like tinkering with this, my hope is that your imagination will start running wild with all the things you can do. And then it's just a matter of like, oh, that might be possible. And then you know, ask questions and look it up and figure out if that's a thing you can do.
Yeah, I mean, I think overall endgame, I think it would be fun to have the slimes like attack something. You know what I mean?
Ooh, yeah.
Like there's some boss that they spawn in and start fighting. Or maybe just, yeah. Have like a little like you ever see those items where the character just kind of like runs across the screen and just attacks what's in front of them and just keeps going?
Were
Like a
they what?
similar like kind I said, have you ever seen those like like the idle games where like your character just kind of like runs in a straight line. Well, I say straight line, but just kind of runs across the screen and just kind of attacks whatever's in front of them. Just keeps moving forward
Oh,
like that.
yeah, like a um idle game. Yeah, I don't know what you'd call that, but yeah, I think I've seen those before.
Yeah, I think that would be fun to like have this slimes have chat spawn in slimes to kind of do.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like chat idle game.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Slimes for now, but I'm sure things can change later. But slimes, since we already have it kind of going, um, yeah. And at some point, I would like Blubber to be like a channel mascot. Just kind of sits there and does TTS stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe has an AI built into it that chat can redeem stuff to make it talk shit to me.
Yeah, because like I have the TTS stuff, and that pretty much is just like pretty straightforward to do.
Mhm.
Because pretty much what I do is in my like Twitch connection class that I write, it just goes and gonna turn off my AC. It is like blasting in my face. Basically it just goes and it listens for all chat messages that come in, and then it says like, okay, if that like username exists currently, um like in the I guess not game, but in the like scene, if that username exists, then it just runs the TTS command, which is like a built-in thing in Godot. So
Okay.
that's thankfully pretty
Cool.
straightforward. It just uses like the system's like TTS voices. If you want like a custom TTS voice, that will be its own adventure.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. If that'd be fancy.
Yeah. Okay. Let me go and okay. So we've got our little guy here, and we can build, and then it does a big think, and we got our little guy. And we can tap space, and we see console output. So I think that is where I got you to last time.
Yes, console output check.
Okay, so step one is we want to be able to spawn slimes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new scene here. And then I'm just going to take our slime here and I'm going to drag it into the scene. And then I'm just going to make sure by clicking on the slime in the little preview here, I'm going to make sure I'm going to hit the reset so he's centered. And then, let's see. Oh, okay. So I'll do this. I'm going to take our node 3D, the like just generic node that it gave us to put the slime as a child of. I'm going to right click and I'm going to change type. And this I'm going to set to a rigid body 3D. So click that. And then this thing is going to complain because we don't have a collision shape yet for it. So I'm going to right click, add child node, collision shape 3D. And so what we're going to do is we're going to make basically just a little like a physics version of this guy that it'll just like drop into the scene just to show as an example.
Okay.
So with our collision shape, I'm going to click that, and then on our inspector, we want a shape. So probably it would make sense to have just a sphere. And so that looks about right, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag the sphere slightly up, and then I'm going to click these the little red dot here. I'm going to click that and then drag it out to where it's, just a little bit outside of the box there. I'm going to make sure save this, and then I'm going to put this in here, just in our scenes folder. I'm going to call this like physics demo. So then we can leave that for now, and I'm going to go back to the main scene here. And so we probably want a location that we're going to spawn the slimes at. So I'm going to click on the right click on the root node, add child node, and then I'm just going to add a basic node 3D. And then I'm going to rename this to be spawn point, just so it's easy to know. And then I will make sure to drag it up in the air a bit here, just outside of the camera view.
Oh, so they'll actually just drop in.
Yeah, so they're gonna like drop in and they'll like roll around, and we can mess with like the physics of it too, so they like bounce around. So then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna click on our little script on our root here, so it makes sure we're opening this. And so this is where we get to do some interesting things with Godot. So, like when we create a variable in here in a class, we can say like int whatever equals a number. Okay. Well,
Okay.
if we want to change that number elsewhere, if we want to change this number ever, of like, say this is like, instead of whatever, say this is like, I don't know, HP. Well, what if we don't want to like go in and edit our code constantly to change this value? So that's where we have, I forget what the term is, but basically it's a little keyword. So we put a square bracket and square bracket before something, and we can write export like that. And what this does, if I hit save here, tab back into Godot and build, what this does is it tells Godot, hey, export this variable out into the GUI. So now you can see we have a special little container here. When we click our root node, we can set the value in here, and it will always stay as like default 10. But say I wanted to spawn an enemy and I want it to have, I don't know, 50 health, I could just set it in the GUI, and I don't have to mess with the code that often.
Okay, so anything you want to like edit in the GUI, you should export.
Yes, and there's some useful things you can get out of that. So for one, I'm going to go back and I'm going to change this, and I want this to be a packed scene. I will call this slime scene, and then just semicolon. So we're not setting it yet. So if I tab back, I can rebuild, and then now you see it's empty. And what this does, so everything that's a scene on the back end is considered a packed scene. So we can do something really cool here, where we can say drop down quick load. I want this to be our physics demo. And so now you see the little preview of that. So now we have a reference that we can set inside of our GUI. We can reference also. Let me actually move this so it shows up on stream better. So now right here we have a little reference to our slime scene, and so now we don't have to worry about Because otherwise, in Godot, you have to specify the actual path to it. So you'd have to say like, if I wanted to spawn this later, you would have to say like res colon slash slash scenes slash physics demo.tscn. And this is annoying because if you ever change that file or change the name of it or do anything, now you have to go replace every instance where you typed out this like string. And that's annoying. So we don't want to do that. I like to export as many things as possible that are like references to other things up in here. And that also lets us edit things very easily on the fly in the editor without having to modify our code. So we have that. So now what we say, and actually, let's do another thing. We also want, so this is where it also gets very cool, is, well, I want a reference to spawn point. So one thing you can do in Godot is you can say like, oh, I could do get tree dot root dot get node whatever, and then like type root slash, you know, CSG combiner 3D slash CSG box 3D. Again, that's annoying because if you ever change your hierarchy of your scene, now you've lost it. Now you have to go edit all of the text that you typed in for those strings of where things are at. Instead,
right, okay.
we can say export node 3D spawn point and just semicolon there, tab back, build. And now you see we have another thing here. Now we have a spawn point and it says assign here. And so we can click that and this shows us our current scene. And now we can just pick the spawn point. And now watch this. If I move this, if the spawn point, say if I made it under this CSG combiner node, so that would change its hierarchy of where it is. So now instead of root slash spawn point, it's root slash CSG combiner slash spawn point. But you see, it updated the reference to it.
Oh yeah, that's 10 times better than
So we
anything else you could do.
We can toss this wherever the fuck we want now, and it will always have a reference to it. Super nice. So I like using exports as much as possible.
Oh yeah, I bet.
The only time where you wouldn't want to use exports is if you're doing something fancy where you need to have the scene automatically like spawn stuff and then like search for like, oh, is there, you know, another player in the scene, or is there, you know, whatever in the scene, and it like has to filter through the nodes, or, you know, if things are not always in a predictable location, or, you know, it's something that like say I wanted to get a reference to a spawned slime. Well, we don't have any spawned slimes in the scene because that only happens once we're in the engine and we hit space and it spawns one. So if we needed to like say modify something on a spawned physics demo slime, well, we can't do that yet. So that would be an instance where selecting and identifying it in code and like finding the path to it in the scene, that's where it becomes relevant, needing to know that. But we don't need to do that yet. So to instance our pack scene, what we're going to do is we're going to say, let me see if I can remember this off the top of my head. So we want to go, let's see, pack scene, or no. Okay. I can't think of it off the top of my head. I have to go cheat.
I'm calling the cops.
I have to go look at my own code for my other stuff.
Code cops. Get this man.
Uh-oh. He's copying his code.
It's copying.
You know, that is one thing that I feel is so bullshit about college, is it's technically plagiarism against yourself. if you reuse code from another project that you did during school for another thing.
Wait, really?
Yes. So,
That's guff beyond all hell.
yeah, fortunately I never ran into that issue, but I remember reading
Never got
about
caught.
well, yeah, I never got caught, obviously. um because I went and like I was looking through like or I was going and doing some like database class, and we had to make like a GUI that like interfaced with the database, and I'm like, oh, I've written this code before, I'm just going to copy and paste my own code. And then like I was reading about it at some point in the like syllabus, that like I guess according to the school, the syllabus the syllabus says that according to the school, reusing your own code between classes is technically plagiarism, which is so fucking hilarious.
Yeah, I don't get that. That's weird.
Yeah, like okay, it's plagiarism if it's like you're using someone else's code or you're stealing stuff from someone else. Yeah, that's plagiarism.
Yeah,
That's bad. If you're
because it's
using it
not.
from if you're using it from yourself, what's the point of me rewriting the same code that I already wrote that I know it works?
Yeah,
It's
it's kind
our
of like at that point you have to like purposely write different code because otherwise, like you can't quite prove that you did just copy paste it, even though you know what the exact code is.
yeah.
So now they are potentially making you write it in like a less effective way,
Yeah.
just to avoid plagiarizing yourself.
Okay, which project has the code for this? That would be Scene Spawner. Okay. This. Okay, okay. So, what we're going to say is we're going to say node 3D as the type, because anything that we're spawning in 3D is going to be a node 3D. Because, so like our main controller inherits node 3D. Anything that, and I guess this is kind of a helpful thing in here, when you go to add something, if I like don't search for anything in here, you see these like drop downs of like, and like everything's kind of color coded. Anything that is in this hierarchy is actually it's like object inheritance tree of, like what are we working with? We're working with a rigid body, which is collision physics. So rigid body inherits from physics body 3D, which inherits from collision object 3D, which inherits from node 3D, which inherits from node. And so anything that's under a node, or like under a type that's a class, is technically also that. So
Okay.
when we're saying create a node 3D, that's fine because we know that it's a physics body and node 3D is applicable to all of these different things. So we can just say node 3D, and then we're going to just call this like temp slime is equal to, and then this is going to be, so this is a thing called casting, where we're saying we know that whatever is going to come from us running this next function, just assume that it's a node 3D, even though you're going to complain that it's not. It is. Trust
Okay.
us. And so,
Preemptively clicking the use anyway button.
yep. And so we say scene, or we want slime scene. So we're referencing this pack scene up here. Dot instantiate. And so for comparison, if I removed this cast, it's going to complain at us. It's going to say, this is just a node, because instantiate by default is going to assume whatever's in that pack scene, because it could be literally anything. It could be a GUI that's 2D. It could just be a generic node that isn't 2D or 3D. Could be anything. It doesn't know. So all it knows is that instantiate, so like, which means to just like spawn an instance of in a scene, everything that's a node has that, which is where, technically we're calling instantiate from that original node class where it defines that. So it doesn't know. All it knows is that it must be a node of some kind, because a pack scene is a type will return a node, but it doesn't know. So we're just giving it a hint. We're saying it's going to be a node 3D, don't worry.
Trust us.
Then what we need to do is this temp slime scene. We need to set where it is. So what we're going to say is its global transform is equal to our spawn point global transform. And now global transform is a transform 3D, which is kind of a weird type, but that's basically every bit of data that you see in here of position, rotation, and scale. So it's like a vector of vectors of position, rotation, scale. So our spawn point, basically what it's going to do is it's going to spawn it in the scene, and then before it even adds it to the scene, it's going to say set its transform, which is, the like, mostly we just changed the like y-axis here. So like mine's set at 5 meters, so it'll be 5 meters up. Then we want to add it to the scene. So we're going to say this, which this keyword, technically we don't need, but it's useful for IntelliSense, because then we just type this dot. We can say this dot get tree, which is going to return everything in here. And then we're going to say dot root. So root, and this is why I always name my root is because then it's easy to like recognize, okay, yeah, we're going to grab this, which is the root of the scene tree.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're going to do add child. And then the child that we're going to add is our temp slime. And then that should just work.
Just like that?
Theoretically. So if we hit...
Is this the Taco Bell sponsored Unity stream?
Yes, this is the Taco Bell Unity stream. So then if I hit build...
Oh, thank God, I love Taco Bell and Unity.
So if I hit space, it spawns them. You can watch them all freak out as they pile on top of each other.
Oh, damn. Did I not save code? Oh. Wait, what the fuck? How did I just lose everything I was typing? What the hell?
Let's see.
What the It's all gone.
Oh no.
What happened? Okay.
Oh, this stupid Twitch thing.
That's weird. Could you show me the code again?
Yeah, here.
I went to go, built it, and then it wasn't working, so I looked at my code, and everything that I typed was just gone. It's especially weird because this, yeah, lost its, what the fuck? It lost the exports too. What just happened?
Oh, I wonder if it if the file didn't save right or something.
I guess. And here I thought things were going to work smoothly after last time. Thought I was due for a smooth learning session.
Nah, it's software development. There is no such thing as having a smooth time.
So I'm learning. Okay, then this was inside of this. Almost recomp back up. Oops. Saved. Try to build. Now Prage. Beautiful. Oh, they're stacking up very nicely on top of each other.
Oh, I think the stupid like Twitch stream together thing stopped working.
Oh, did it?
Maybe. Let's see. Like exited me out for some reason.
Oh, it's still up for me. Give me 1 second now.
Can you tell the audience that .NET 8 is recommended now?
.NET 8 is recommended now if you're on Godot 4.3. Okay, now it's showing up. I think you need to share your screen on that again. Maybe, or do I need to click?
No, I need to share my screen. I don't have it. I had to set back up. Boop. Boop. There it is.
Aha, nice. Okay, so
Wait, .NET 8? Oh my gosh. We have to pause stream. I need to get .NET 8.
I gotta go updo right now.
I gotta go get the x86 version.
Okay, so now we can start doing some funny things here to tinker with this. So if we want it to be bouncy, what we can do is go back to our physics demo scene here, to our node 3D.
Slow it down, make it bounce.
Uh-oh. Let's see.
Sorry, you triggered the K-pop in me.
So if we go to our physics material override, new physics material, and then we say, let's see how, let's do like a 0.5 bounciness. What other things do we have here?
That's the gravity scale?
The bounciness level. So if you go, yeah, new physics material there.
Okay.
Yeah.
0.5, you said?
Yeah. And then because we're linking that scene there, we don't have to update our reference to it. It's already updated. So
let's fucking go.
And see, now he bounces. He goes boing.
Oh, the bounce on the bounce. Oh no, the tower. Oh. Oh wait, that's not a good context.
Oh no.
Sorry.
Turn on the news, it doesn't matter what channel.
It's so goofy.
Yeah, so now we can spawn a ton of objects.
A ton of bouncy objects. Don't
Yeah.
forget.
See, we could even get more wacky with it. We can say physics material 1. I think it should. Yeah, so it actually, you don't even have to rebuild the program if you just edit it in here because it just uses the reference to that. So now you can see things that bounce, they just are maximum bouncing and they do not stop bouncing.
Yeah, let's pump that baby up. Show me the bounce. Oh wow, yeah, that's a bounce, all right.
They're vibing.
I love it.
Okay, so we've got physics down. What's next? Animation stuff. Okay, so
I think we just call it a day. We understand physics now. I think that's all
Yup.
we need.
What more do you need? You can spawn a bunch of things and they bounce around.
Yeah, that's the whole game actually. You just we put on Steam for like $3 and then call it slime spawner.
Yep, and then it has to give you a a trading card every once in a while, and then like a Steam inventory item, and
Yep.
then people can use it as like basically an NFT. And
Oh yeah. Oh, we could also sell like slime skins for like $5 a pop.
yeah, I love video games.
Me too.
Big air quotes
Such a-
around it. Game.
Hey, I'm plenty uh I'm plenty entertained right now.
Okay, so let's mess
Okay,
around
yeah,
with
but technically
animation
animation's
here.
next. Okay.
So if I zoom in my camera here, so we can see we've got right now we've only got our one animation of the like bouncing up and down. And so that's fine to start with here. Well, actually what I'm going to do, I'm going to go this. Yeah. I'm going to open this up in Blender and I'm going to add some animations and do some funky stuff with this. And prepare this for oh wow, why is mine is all sorts of fucked up.
Oh, mine didn't even open in Blender.
Oh, okay. There. Now the materials are loaded. Okay, so I'm going to go to the animation tab here. Our little guy here. And then I'm going to make sure that on the animation tab, the little circles right here, I'm going to make sure that's checked so I can see my bones and everything. And then this little preview here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click
Wait, which circles are?
this one right here, the overlays.
Oh, I have the wrong thing open. Okay. Okay.
So you should be able to see the bones in it when it's enabled, I think.
Because I have that like okay, I
Ah,
can see that.
okay. So then the left pane, I'm going to click here because I don't really want this. I want the NLA track. So animation, nonlinear animation. So I'm going to click that. And then the other thing I'm going to do is down at the bottom, a little track here where it says dope sheet. I'm going to click that and I'm going to change this to be in the action editor. And then it'll show blank. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to click rig action. Maybe. Oh, I have to have the bones selected. Then I'll click that. And then that should show me my 2 keyframes here. So first off, I'm going to rename this. I'm going to call this the idle animation. And then you can just rename it by when it says like rig action or whatever in there, you just type a new name. So we've got that. And so now you see up here, there is this little kind of odd looking menu. And what this is, so this is the nonlinear animation tracks. So this means I can take different animations and blend them together on this menu. That's useful for if you're doing stuff in Blender. But what Godot does is it reads this menu to know what animations are available in it. So I'm going to hit push down, and then that adds that to the track. And so we're good. And we can go back and edit that later if we want to, but we don't really need to. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click create new action. And then I'm going to call this look. And then this animation, what I'm going to do. Actually, before I get into that, in the NLA track editor, there is this little check mark. I'm going to uncheck the check mark because I do not want to see the idle animation while I'm doing another animation. Okay, so with the bones selected, I'm going to go into pose mode. And then I'm going to animate the eyes looking around. So
Oh, geez. Okay. Oh.
I'm going to go at my step 0 here, and I'm going to hit with my cursor over the viewport. I'm just going to tap I, and that will add a keyframe. And then I'm going to move this out to like 30 frames. And then I'm going to just like slide the eyes over and change like the angle. So it's like he's like moving his eyes over to look over there. And then move out to like 60 frames. And I'm going to do kind of something similar where he's like looking over here. And then move out a couple more frames. And then I'm going to go to our original keyframes, make sure they're selected here, and then I'm going to just do Shift D and duplicate them out to some other point. So then now he has this little animation where he's like, huh? Huh? And then he looks back. So we have that animation.
Okay, oh wait, that's fuck.
Gotta remember Blender animation.
Yeah. Okay, there we go. Shit. Oh fuck! No, I should be doing this. Wait, why the? Oh, god damn it! Okay, sorry. Figured it out.
Okay, let me
Next.
and okay. Too many things going on. Okay, so
No worries.
we've got eyeball moving animation, and then we've got the idle animation. So I'm gonna go up here, and then so we have that animation, and I can hit push down. And so now you can see if I check this to where both of these are checked, and then I hit space to play, you can see both animations are playing at the same time.
Ooh. Ah.
Yeah, fancy.
I need to fix my idle animation. But yes.
And so for now, I'm just gonna leave. Or well, actually, we'll do one more. So I'm gonna select the mouth, and this may or may not work. So we'll see. On the mouth, I'm gonna add a new animation, and I'm gonna call this talking. And then
Oh, I need to reset my dude's mouth first, real quick.
oh yeah.
Oh shit! Which one is it? It's the vertex. Okay.
Okay. And so the mouth closed keyframe or the shape key that we added. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hover over the 1.0 on here, and I'm going to tap I, and that adds a keyframe for the actual shape key there. And for some reason, it does not want to show up in the track editor, which is odd.
Oh, that's because I'm in the wrong freaking mode. Okay.
So then I'm going to go open the mouth slightly here, and then I'm going to tap I again while hovering over that. Why is this? Oh, that is very odd.
I got an error that said it couldn't be properly indexed.
Oh, what the heck?
Neutral active shape key index property cannot be animated.
That's odd. I've never heard of that.
Oh, hold on. I see why.
Oh, yeah, you have to hover over the number itself, not the position. It's very odd. It's another one of those Blender moments where, depending on what your cursor is currently hovering over, the hotkeys mean something different.
Yeah, I think this exact situation popped up last time too.
Probably.
Okay.
I'm still. The thing I'm trying to figure out is why it's not showing the keyframes for. Huh. Okay, let me see if this is a thing.
Oh yeah, I'll have the same issue. It's not showing us keyframes. Oh, it does if I. Whoa. What the fuck just happened? Uh.
Hmm.
The axis in which blubber exists got suddenly changed.
Oh, yeah, this is a I think you might have.
Remember, key shapes and mirror modifiers together
Oh,
don't play well with current Godot.
Shape key. Okay. So I think we're only doing solidifier and armature. Or is it all shape keys and all modifiers don't work together?
I couldn't control Z out of this axis change.
Uh-oh. Let me see what we're looking at here.
Oh, what the fuck is
Not
wrong with the
sure.
proportions
Can't
now?
wait to
What is
find out.
happening?
Oh, I think I know what's
Okay.
happening. We're trying to animate two separate objects. And oh yeah, okay.
Whoop. Okay, I did in fact control Alt Z my way back to correct blubber, but I don't know what was going on with that. It took a lot more than like should have happened.
Weird. Yeah, sometimes Blender can get funky when you're animating things separately from the NLA track, or you're separating, or you're animating using the action editor, and you're animating like multiple different things like bones from different rigs or different objects. Sometimes it can get funky. Because
I see.
what ends up happening is sometimes animation data for a different object gets stuck to another object, and then suddenly things start like freaking out.
Yes, I would definitely relate my experience just now to a blender freaking out.
Weird. Okay, I guess I'm just gonna fly blind here because I have no clue why it's not showing up the keyframes there. Okay, so
Because I got the keyframes to show up if I hit I on the value, which locked them whatever color, and then I hovered over the viewport and then hit I again, and then it added the keyframe. Then I had the whole axis flip, but I didn't get a test if it actually did the animation.
yeah, there's. Oh, it's animating, or it's putting it on key. Okay, so you can see on my screen here, it's putting it under key action instead of that.
Ooh.
So if we go to, we name this talking. Oh, yeah, it does not like us doing that.
Okay, yeah. It just
Talking.
added a frame to key
WTF
action for me
baby
as well.
screaming ad.
Baby screaming ad. Thanks, twitch.com.
I mean, it must have thought your viewers really wanted to see that.
Yep. Oh, that's interesting. I don't know why this opened in Blender 4.1. Oh, I think I do know. Okay, let me not save that in Blender 4.1. Ignore what I'm doing here. I did a bad.
A quick fuck this shit, I'm out.
Yeah, I need to reopen this. I have so many different versions of Blender installed. Okay, will this open in 4.2? Yes. Okay. That might be why my
Oh
thing is
man,
acting kind of
I'm on
funky.
4.1.
Wait, are you?
Yeah.
This should be fine. Mine is saved in 4.2. Realistically, there's no difference between them for the most part. It's just mine was
Famous last words.
yeah. Mine was just screaming at me because I saved it in 4.2 and it had it open and I was opening it in 4.1, so it was like freaking out because it was like, "Oh, you're going to lose data if you keep doing this." Okay. There we go. Okay, now I get to speed run back to where we were at. Oh yeah, they made the NLA track editor a lot more slick. Oh wait, no, I'm dumb. That's not the NLA track editor. That's okay. Come on, you can load the shader. Maybe.
You can do it, little guy.
Okay. He's just gonna look funky with the pixelation. Okay. Action editor. Okay. Ba-ba-ba. This
It's
is
just a new slime type. It's the static slime.
yeah. This is the slime.
TV static slime.
This is the slime that his entire existence is like when you hit your elbow on a table.
Oh,
That's all he
too
feels.
real.
That's why his eyes look like that.
He's in a permanent state of that.
He is constantly suffering.
That's not an existence I'd like to have.
Okay, idle. So it goes. Okay, and then we want new action look. Okay, and then push that down, and then mouth. We want to go. There, and then
Oh, he looking.
so on mine for some reason it's showing the key action here. And so I just renamed the key action to be talk. Okay, so now we have all these different little animations here. Then we're gonna hit save. And then we're gonna tab back into Godot and then let it re-import everything. So now that we're in here, we should see that it is dumb. Okay. So we need to double click on the slime.blend. I think we
Double click on slum.blend.
yeah. In the file system
Oh,
view on the side there.
okay, yeah.
And then need to figure out why it is not wanting to import the new tracks. If we import from there, does it show the new tracks? No, because in here it should list all the different tracks. I don't even have one called rig action anymore in here. Imported scene.
Oh, I don't have any animations available.
Weird. Why is it doing that?
I did get some yellow text on my output.
Oh yeah. Inconsistency warnings.
Okay, you got them too.
Yeah, I don't. That's something new that I've noticed that I have no clue what it actually means. Hmm. Weird. Why is... Oh, I'm dumb. What the fuck? How did that even end up like that? Okay, weird. For reference, what happened with mine? For some reason I have uh 2 copies of slime.blend. Somehow one of them ended up outside of my Blender folder. So I'm just gonna cut and paste it over top.
Wonder if I have the same problem.
Could be. Okay.
Trying to re-import this one.
Got the animation, and then we've got...
Yeah, still no.
Okay, let's see.
Still it's there.
What is yours having an issue with?
It's in the Blender folder.
So is it just not like it is the correct file that you're editing, right?
I think so. I'm trying to find the file
So
here, but
if you right click on any file in the file view here, you can do show in file manager and it will open your Explorer to that folder.
okay. Okay, yeah, this is in my stream programming folder, yeah. At least
Okay.
that one is. But oh yeah, it shows last modified on the 5th. What the fuck? Okay. Definitely not the 5th anymore. Okay, so I'll need to find that the new one, throw into here then.
Yeah. That is funny that we both had the same exact issue. Totally for
Yeah,
no reason.
kind of seems like maybe one of the programs
Yeah, I don't know.
had a moment.
That's very odd. That's hilarious. Yeah, like that's literally same issue, but like different ways to cause it.
Look at that, does it live? Whoa!
Oh, you probably need to delete any lights in the scene.
Right. Oh, yeah, I don't think this game has lights.
In the Blender file. If you go into
Oh shit!
in Blender in the scene, delete any lights that are in there.
Get out of there. Okay.
Maybe. Why is it still?
Oh, it's because this is technically in the one that's not in my.
Oh, yeah. Close that one and open the other one.
Yeah. Yeah, this is one open up in Blender, not the boop boop boop. This is the one. Look at that. Beautiful. Automatic. Love it. There he is. Perfect. Beautiful boy.
Okay, so now
Still no animations. Oh, wait. How do we import? No, wait. Did that already, didn't it?
is it so if you
I'll send it.
you might need to select actual animation player. So if you right click on the slime in the main scene,
On the main scene?
yeah, because we're gonna animate that one. And then
Oh, this one's probably still referencing. Let me see what this one's referencing.
it should be all the same one.
What should be? Okay. Yep, it is. Okay.
And if you right click on it and editable children is enabled,
It is.
okay, and then you see the animation player that should be yellow.
Ah.
Yeah, there's all your animations. For some reason, the talking one does not work. I think I might know why, but that's not important. So we have our idle animation that we can see here. And we have our looking animation where it goes, like that. So first what I'm going to do, I'm going to make sure that these are all set as looping animations. So I'm going to go back to the re-importer thing here. I'm going to go to the idle and set that.
My eyes didn't come through.
That one should be linear. That one should be linear. I guess just all of these should be loop mode linear for all three of these animations in here.
Yeah, my what should be my look is not working for some reason. It has this red symbol.
What does it say? So in Godot, it should say like what it's animating. I assume it says skeleton 3D is what it's animating.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, you're right. Show that symbol too, but yours are working.
Yeah. So these
What
just are
line?
like the different like elements that it's animating. Like that.
The eyes work in
Oh.
Blender.
In Blender, make sure each one of the little animations there is pushed down. So there should be like a little like there's this little like two rectangles with an arrow above it.
Not on these two.
Here, screen share in Discord so I can actually see like a higher resolution of this.
Oh, yeah, that's probably helpful for troubleshooting. So we can see where I'm going wrong.
Okay. So the idle animation, it is on the armature. And if you hit play in Blender, it animates everything.
Yep. The eyes be looking around. He'd be breathing.
Okay. And then in Godot, if you tab back into Godot, what is it showing?
Just the breathing.
So the idle animation is there, and then if you click the like animation list.
Oh, like this list. Okay.
Oh yeah, so you do have the other animation there. So yeah, okay.
Oh, sorry. I thought they were both playing. They would pull both at the same time.
So this is.
Oh, I am silly. Okay.
Okay, that is good. That is correct. That's how it should be. So, and we're gonna actually work with that. So, their animation player node in here. I'm gonna right click that, add child, and I want to do an animation tree as a child of that node. And then it's gonna whine because it wants you to select things. And so I'm gonna say tree root is a animation node blend tree, so the second option.
Okay.
And then the animation player, I'm going to click assign, and then I'm going to click that. So first it's going to whine because we don't have any inputs here. So we have two animations now. So I'm going to right click in this little graph down here. I'm going to click add to. And then we're going to change the output of add to into our output node. And it's going to complain even more. But that's fine. And then the little name here, instead of add to, I'm going to name this look blend. And so we have two inputs into this. And so I'm going to just drag out from our in an animation. And I'm going to name this one idle. And then I'm going to select the idle there. And so you'll see it's looping right there, or not looping. If you, I think this is a step you might have missed. Double click on the slime blend. And then for each one of these animations in here on the left, make sure loop mode is set to linear.
This is a step I missed. Okay.
That way it will just auto loop these animations. And so
Okay.
we won't see anything just yet, because now we need to add our other animation. So we're going to say our in is our base animation, and our add is the animation we're laying on top of it. So we want to add an animation, and then I'm going to call this one look, and then select the look animation. These don't have to be named the same as the animation you're selecting, but it makes it easier if you name them similar, so you know what you're looking at.
Right.
And so now you can see our little guy is moving now.
He be breathing. He's alive.
And now this is where it gets interesting. Is this little slider? You can slide it, and you can see he's kind of looking around a little bit. And then the more you slide it, the more he's looking around.
This is so cool.
And
okay, yeah.
if you go wacky with it, you can actually make it exaggerate the animations.
Oh god.
Yeah. So by default, I'm going to set this to 0. And so
Whoa. Okay.
we've got, so if we have our animation tree selected, this is where we get to see some interesting stuff here. So this little slider here is actually exported into the inspector UI. So you can see when we slide it in the corner here, it is actually sliding it down here in the little add slider.
Under blend. It's under animation tree. I seem to be missing
Oh, you
the
have to
parameters.
if you have to select your animation tree node on the side.
Oh, I was yeah, I click on player. Okay. Whoopsie. Okay, I see now. Okay, yeah, there it is.
And so yeah, you can see that it's modifying it at the same time. And so that is useful because now we can animate this via code. So now,
Oh boy.
what I want to do first, what we're going to do is I'm going to add a new button to press. We're going to project settings. We're going to do input map, and we're going to add a new action. We're going to call this look animation. And then I'm going to put this on whatever key. I'm just going to put it on Q. So now we have our keybind that we can work with. And then now back in our main controller here, our script file, we're going to do a couple things. First, we're going to export a animation tree, and we'll call this just anim tree.
Okay.
Then what we're going to do is we're going to say if input is action hell, or no, is action pressed, not just pressed, is it pressed? So this is going to say if we're currently holding it. And then we'll do this look animation. I think that's what we called our key. Yes, look animation. We're going to say, I need to go steal some more code from myself here.
I'm calling your old professors right now.
Uh-oh. They don't even work at the school anymore. They all went on strike and quit their jobs because the school sucks shit.
Based. Good for them.
Yeah. It's unfortunate. It was a cool school, but yeah, they didn't pay the teachers well enough. But then
Not the damn shame.
The dean and the president of the school got to keep getting paid even more though.
Of course he did.
Yeah, they got raises while the teachers didn't get a raise for like 5 years.
Oh my god, that's so cringe.
Not even a raise to match inflation either. So they were like essentially being actively paid less over time because it wasn't being kept up with inflation. Very cool. They want
Working the same job, progressively getting poorer. That's not how that should be.
Many such cases.
Yeah.
Okay. So what we're gonna do? We're gonna do some lerping here.
Did you say some LARPing?
Nah, lerp. LERP. So
Okay.
What does lerp stand for? Linear interpolation, I think. Something like that. So essentially what we're gonna do is we're gonna because we don't want to set okay, for my little waving animation that I do here, right? When I go to wave,
It's a skeleton.
yeah, a jump scare. You see, like if I just kind of like tap the key, it goes into doing the animation, but then it like immediately goes back, right?
Okay.
Because otherwise it would just like teleport. The hand would just teleport into doing the wave animation. Because we want it to kind of smoothly swap between doing it or not doing it. That's what lerping will do. So So to lerp, we need to know where we're at, and we need to know where we're going. And to know where we're going, we need to know where you're at. The missile knows where it's going because it knows where it's been.
I was about to say that. Yeah.
So we want so first we're gonna make a float here, and we're gonna call this current animation blend. And then this is going to be, we're gonna cast this as a float, and we're gonna say this is our anim tree dot get, and then this is where we have to type in a string. So we need to know our property name, and so the property name is so this is where it gets kind of complicated of how do you actually determine a property name. Godot is very funky, where even though This looks like it should be capital P parameters and look blend like that. It's not actually. There's no there is no space here.
Oh, okay.
So what we're going to do is we're going to say it's actually parameters slash whatever we called it in here. So look blend with the like Pascal case. Look blend. I'm just going to copy paste it. Slash add amount, but it's like this. And so what this is going to do is it's going to take whatever the current number is in here, and it's going to put it into this variable. So we'll know where we're at currently.
Okay.
Then what we want to do, and actually we can make this a little nicer. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually take this code here. Wait, how do I want to do this? Okay. Yes, we can do it here. Okay. We'll make this a little nicer so we don't have to copy paste code. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this outside of our little if is pressed animation, because we always want to know, even if we're not pressing it, right? We always want to be updating the animation. So we don't actually want to be checking if we're pressing it to update it. We want to be always checking. So I'm just going to move that right outside of that if statement. I'm also going to add some line breaks here so it's easy to read. So then we're also going to, we're going to add another float. And then we're going to call this anim amount to set. I'm going to say this is 0 by default. Because we want to say, if we're not pressing it, we want to be animating towards this being 0, right? And then we're going to say is when we're holding it, we want it to be moving towards 1.
Okay.
So then all we have to do is in the action pressed thing, we say anim amount to set equals 1. So it's going to leave it at 0, but then when we're pressing it, it actually changes it to 1. Then we're going to apply our thing that we're trying to set. So we're going to say anim tree dot set, and then we can just copy paste this path here because we want to change its add amount. And then we're going to say that path, comma, and then now we want to say, what are we animating it towards? Or well, we're going to say, what are we setting it to? But we're going to animate it by doing a lerp. So we're going to say math f dot lerp. And I think it might give you the option of 2 different math f's to choose from. One has a capital F and one has a lowercase f. They're basically the same thing. The lowercase f is Godot's lerp. The uppercase F is the C# math F class. Okay. I'm just going to use the lowercase one because that's what I use elsewhere. There's no functional difference between them. And then so we can hover over lerp and read more about it. So it linearly interpolates between 2 values by a normalized value. This is the opposite of inverse lerp. Okay, so you can see our parameters that we can put into this are our from value, our to value, and our weight, which is essentially how fast and by what amount do you want it to change each tick. So our from amount is what we want to say what we're currently at. So you always want to be going from our current, so our cur animation blend, comma, and then our animation to set. So anim to set. comma, and now we want to know how fast are we going to interpolate between them. I'm going to say we want 0.1 f. And f just tells it this is a float. Because there's technically some ambiguity between 0.1 being a float or a double. But we want a float, so we're going to say float. And so now what this is going to do is it's going to, each time it loops through this, we're going to say first, get where we're at, set what we want to aim towards to be 0. If we're pressing it, we want to be aiming towards 1. And then set whatever, set the blend amount or the add amount to be equal to our amount that we're aiming towards. And so basically what this does is it says essentially each thing keep going towards, like keep adding that amount until we reach the amount to set. And so that's how it's able to do that over time. So we should be able to save this.
Should, yeah.
And then before we hit play, because it's going to crash.
I like this song.
Okay, this is a good song.
Wait, what do you mean it's going to crash?
Because you notice how we linked an export, we set our animation tree up here.
Yeah.
And so we click to our root node. Well, where's our animation tree that we can link? It doesn't exist yet because we haven't compiled our code yet. So if we hit play, it's going to crash because it doesn't know what this is yet. It's going to be null, and then it's going to freak out. So, and this is something in the new Godot versions. It will auto detect that you added something here and that you haven't built it, and it will warn you. It'll say, hey, you have new exports you haven't built yet. Do you want to build and then do that? So for now, we just say, okay, build. And then it'll build it. And then now you can see, okay, we have the animation tree. And then we hit assign and then link our animation tree there. And now we can hit go. And now, if we hold down Q, we'll start looking around. And then if we let go of Q, we stop looking around. And we can kind of tap Q. And we can go in and out of that looking animation pretty quickly.
Why is it taking me into my debug? Let's see.
Oh, do you have a camera in your blend scene? That is why.
God damn it. God damn it.
Oh yeah, that gets me all the time because I'll be using it for renders and then I'm like, wait, what the fuck? Where's this camera? Why is this not my player? It's like, oh right, I have a scene over in the corner in the middle of nowhere that has a render camera on it. So now you should be able to hold down Q, and then he does.
He does not.
Okay, so we get to do some debugging now.
Oh, yippee!
So
Where did I mess up?
I guess launch it again.
Launchings.
And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna click over when it's launched. You see there's remote and local here. Local is like what you're setting up in the scene, but remote is actually what nodes are in the scene currently in the engine running. And so we can click through this drop down and we can see all the different things in here. And so we want to click over to our animation tree, click on that. And now we can see its live update on the side here. So if I tab back into the running thing, if you watch the blend amount right here, you can see it go up and down slightly.
Mine gets to 0.1 and stops.
Okay, so that means you probably have some error in your code. So if we go back to here. Sorry, animation. So I don't know if this would affect it, but you do have a space after add amount in your when you're getting the current animation amount up above.
Current. Oh,
There is a space there. I don't know if that would affect it, but it might.
trying to find out.
Yeah. Otherwise, I think your code looks fine.
Oh, Lodi, he looking. Okay, yeah.
Okay, so that's what it was.
Rogue spaces.
Awesome. So now he can look around and you can interpolate between different animations. And so, like for my VTuber program, I have all of my different like facial expressions as different shape keys in Blender, and then I interpolate those shape keys like that.
In the exact same way that we just did.
Yes.
Cool.
Where it's like as I'm holding it, it'll do that. Technically, I can make it where it's a toggle, but I am lazy. So yeah, that's how I do that. And so with this, you can animate pretty much anything from code. And so, for example, even though the talking animation is being kind of funky, you could very easily change this code to say, okay, while we're reading a text, while the text to speech is playing, lerp the animation towards 1 on the, mouth going wah 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 talking. And then when we're not doing text to speech, lerp it towards 0. So then it like smoothly transitions between like talking and not talking. And then you see, this is where it gets even more complicated but fancy. That's also how I'm doing my talking animation in my software. Is I am watching the spike on the audio graph from the microphone to determine how loud I'm speaking and translate that to a 0 to 1 scale on how much my head should be bobbing with myself speaking.
Okay, so when you are speaking quieter, it's smaller.
Yeah.
But if you are yelling,
yeah.
it's
So
big.
if I'm way up close to the mic and it goes way louder and it moves more rapidly. So all of my animations, all of this stuff is all done via basically this couple lines of code here of just like reading a value, reading an input, and then animating a value. And then all of that stuff is done in Blender.
Cool.
And then, so I can kind of show this here. And so in my VTuber software here, the actual animation player. Wait. Animation player? Where is this? Oh, the animation tree here. So like this is what my animation tree looks like for my character. Where there's a like an idle arm swaying animation. There's like an idle breathing animation. There's the actual like sitting animation that I can do. And so that's a toggle. where it's basically just saying like, yeah, toggle between lerping towards 1 or 0 on that.
Right.
And then the moving animation. So when I'm like walking around, you see it like smoothly transitions between standing and walking.
That is smooth.
And then
Yeah.
yeah,
So admit.
and then the speak blend. So that's the one that goes up and down, and you can actually see this here. Doop and doop and doop and doop and here. So yeah, you can see all these are all the different animations that are going off, and so you can see this is my microphone value right here. So as I'm talking, you can see that it actually goes up as I'm speaking, and it really only ever goes up as much as like 70 or 80. Then if I get up really loud in the microphone, I guess it goes a little louder. And
I don't know. I didn't see it go above 6.
Maybe. I don't know if sound suppression stopped that.
I mean, my ears certainly heard it, but yeah, maybe looks like Godot did not. Or
No. But yeah, and so like you can see as I'm like, so like that's the waving blend that goes up and down there. The like sitting and the moving. Yeah. So that's kind of like the very, very, very basic like animate things based off of what's happening. And so that's something that's just like pretty much you just start extrapolating of like, oh, I want to do this animation. Okay, I make the animation, I add it to the animation tree, I link it in, and then I, modify it in code.
right. Looking at the code, if we were to add another animation, would we need to change like the animation name or the float name of current animation blend to something like
Yes.
more specific to look blend as opposed to like very general?
So anytime we'd want to like do another thing, pretty much you would just duplicate this entire code block and then change this to be like whatever. Let's see, where's the animation editor? Basically, so like for example, let me pull up my program because this has a lot more stuff in it. And so in here, instead of just one little blend thing, I have arm blend, moving blend, speak blend, time scale, wave blend. This is all stuff that I reference in my code.
Right.
In this exact same way, where so like I can show here is like this is the waving blend animation, and then this one looks a little more complicated because this is for the voice blend, this part, where what it's doing is it's getting the audio server peak volume decibels for the microphone and then doing a bunch of math to clamp the value between 0 and 1, rescaling it, and then basically then we just set the volume and then we lerp from the current to whatever our volume amount should be, either 0 or 1. Similarly,
Okay. And yeah, it looks like you have a more less general name for the floats. Okay.
yeah, so they're all named into like whatever whatever thing that they're tied to. And so, yeah, basically it is just like to do all the different animations and stuff. It's just add a bunch of these. And you could probably be, if you wanted to be really smart with it, you could probably make this whole, because this right here, this is just a string, right?
Right.
So theoretically, you could, if I said like string, like this, look blend. Technically, you could get away with doing something like this, where we're kind of parameterizing this functionality. And now, if we wanted to say, like, if we had a look blend or like walk blend or speaking or whatever, and as long as everything's named correctly, this would be now a generic function that we could do anything with. And then we could put this into like its own function that we call. And then all we have to do is say, hey, are we pressing any of these keys? If so, run the like change animation with the name of the animation that we're trying to change, which saves a lot on like
Cool.
duplicated code.
Right. I mean, would it be able to do multiples at once with just the
Yep.
one?
Yeah, because that's the whole point. Is like if I went over here and I said like public void change animation, string anim name, and then I like just like yoinked all of this into here, and then just for like sake of whatever, and I could say like change like if pressing key or whatever, change animation speaking, then that would just work basically, because then it's just kind of going and doing all this code in here each frame.
Right.
Obviously I'd have to change it a little bit more to make it actually work, but that's for like not really optimization, but like code reusability. I don't use that too much for mine because I have a bunch of like custom stuff that I'd have to like rework to make everything use the same functionality. Because like for one of them, obviously it's using the microphone input as the like what to change, and for other ones it's like listening for a certain key press, so it's a little bit different, but it could
Sure.
it could be changed to use that where it's all like one function. Okay. I think that covers setting up animation stuff. Let's do camera swapping. And this should be pretty quick.
It's what they always say.
Yeah. So and I'll teach you about node groups as well as we're doing this. So first I'm going to go to our camera, and then I'm just going to, well, first what I'm going to do with our camera is I'm going to click over, make sure our camera's selected. I'm going to click to node. I'm going to click over to groups. And then in here, I'm going to type cams, add. And then that creates a group called cams, and it assigns it. And now you know that this camera is in the group because now it has this fancy little icon that says node is in this group cams. So what this is useful for is this lets us tag nodes of any type. And we can easily access these without having to know where the camera is in the scene. So I'm just going to click on this camera. I'm going to hit Control D, which will duplicate it. And I'm going to put one camera over here on this side. And then I'm going to duplicate another camera. I'm going to put another one like right here. So now we have multiple different cameras. And the reason we put the group on it first is because when we duplicate, it duplicates all the settings, including node groups. So now we don't have to apply the cams group to everything on there.
Beautiful.
Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to come back into our code here, and we're going to say, oh, actually, let me add a new hotkey. So project settings, input map, add new action, and we're gonna do cycle cam, enter, and then I'm gonna put this on I don't know, C for camera.
E for cam, yeah, makes sense.
And then we're gonna come in here and we're gonna say, so first what we're gonna want is we want to make we want to be able to have a list of all the different cameras in the scene. And by list, I mean an actual list, because I really like C# lists. So at the very, very top where we have our usings, we're going to do using system.collections.generic. Okay, and then in here, I'm going to create a new list, and I'm going to say a list of camera 3D, and I call this cams in scene, : and we don't need to export or anything, because we are going to be creating this in a minute. And then also, I guess you already have this, so I'm going to create it. I did not have a ready function. So in our ready function, what we're going to do, we need to get all the cameras that are in the scene that are tagged as a camera. And this is actually very easy. So what we're going to do is we're going to do so the way that you get a list of all the cameras is you would say let me think. It is get tree dot root dot get nodes, or is it just get tree dot get node? Okay, so it's just get tree dot get nodes in group, and we're going to say cams because that is the name of the group that we created. And now this will give us a list of all these, but we need to add these to our actual list we're going to interface with in here. So what we're going to say is, okay, I'm just going to cut and paste that out of here because we're going to use that here in a second. We're going to say for each camera 3D cam in collection, which I'm going to paste over with our get cam there. So we'll have for each camera 3D cam in get tree.get nodes and group cams. We're going to say cams in scene. Wait for you to catch up.
I'm gonna paste that there for now. I know.
Okay. So we're going to say cams in scene dot add cam, like that. But also before we do that, because we actually need to instantiate cams in scene, because right now it's null. So if we do add, it's going to freak out. So I'm actually going to go back up to where we declare it. We're going to say equals new list cam 3D like that. So it's going to create a blank list. Then make sure your semicolon is not before your equals there.
Oh shit.
Okay, so now we should have this, and what this is going to do, it's going to iterate over all of these and add them to a scene. Then, now we're going to come back down into our process function, and we're going to add a new input check. And we're going to say if input.isAction just pressed cycle cams, or whatever you named the key press, let me think. Okay, so we do need to know what camera we're on right now, right? Or actually, no, we don't. We don't need to know which camera we're on, right?
Well, why not?
I'm trying to think if we can do this in a clever way. Okay, we don't need to do this in a clever way. Okay.
Like my
So I'm going to go back up here at the very top, and I'm going to say int cam index, or current cam index equals 0. Because we're going to assume that whatever camera is active is going to be 0. And then we're going to come back down to our input thing, and we're going to say we're going to say
it doesn't like my if statement. Oh, it's outside of this function.
That'll do it.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, so we're going to say, so first what we want to do is we want to say current cam index plus plus, which will add 1 to our current camera index. And we're going to say if current cam index is greater than cams in scene dot count minus 1, because count will return how many actual items there are. So say 3 items, but we want to know the index of the item, right? And indexes start at 0. So the 0th item is actually cam 1. The first, right, index is cam 2, and so on. So we want to do minus 1. So what this check is saying, if we've just incremented and we've gone over the number of the cams that we have in the scene, we want to say current cam index is equal to 0. So then we just wrap around to 0 again.
Okay.
And then all we have to say is cams in scene, and then we access the index via square brackets, and we say current cam index. So, 0, 1, 2, or 3, or whatever. And then we just say dot current equals true. And the way Godot handles this is anytime you set a camera's current value to true, it automatically sets all other cameras in the scene as not current. And current just means that is the camera that the viewport is displaying.
Okay, that makes sense.
So then theoretically, this should just work. So if we hit save, go back, rebuild. Oh, it is angry. Why is it angry?
Oh, it's very angry. Oh yeah, it's very angry with me too.
Is action just pressed?
Which means I get to blame you.
Yes. Just cycle cams. Oh, I misspelled it. It's not cycle cams. It's cycle cam is the name of the input.
Womp womp.
Okay.
Boop, boop.
And now this works.
I'll be the judge of that. It does in fact work.
And now you can see we can hold down Q and cycle through the cameras. You can press space and it spawns more guys. Spawn 1,000,000 of them.
Yeah, I think I accidentally built a tower of
Nice.
a quite honestly ridiculous amount of slimes. Oh, are they floating? Whoa, whoa, whoa! Okay.
I think their collision is
Oh,
freaking out now because they're just totally
yeah.
clipped inside of each other.
Let's just spawn the slime and just write it out. That's fine. I wonder if I can crash this. Oh, fix this
Uh-oh.
off.
The tower has fallen.
No, that's the second one.
They just keep coming. Oh my god, and they all got
There
launched.
it is.
They all got launched
We
into the
did it.
stratosphere. Hell yeah. Okay.
Fuck yeah, physics.
Let's see. So I think that's all I had for this part 2. Because the next stuff will be Twitch connection and a lot more advanced stuff. And I think that'll all be a stream in and of itself.
But we gotta do some stuff off stream first, right?
Yeah, I'll have to get you the Twitch connection set up. First I have to clean up the code to be generic, and then I'll pass it along to you and then get you set up with that off stream. And then
Ooh, off stream time. Ooh.
yeah. And then we can start doing more advanced stuff like TTS and actually making some kind of like actual gameplay things, and like you can join in chat and everything.
Yes. I'll have to see if I can model some sort of boss for things to find. Maybe let's make a big slime. We'll just slap a random chat exam on it. Whoever got the last hit becomes the boss. We'll see.
The giant rat that makes all of the rules.
No, not the rat. I've been harassed relentlessly that my model looks more like a rat than a lion. Actually, no, maybe a rat would be a good idea.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for today.
Yeah.
We didn't have any stream-ending bugs this time, which is pretty pog.
Yeah, we actually had very, very minimal issues.
Yeah, just me being dumb, which is expected. So,
Well, I also had the
on it.
same issues that you had as well. So we share in the
Oh yeah, when there were issues,
we share in the dumbness.
it's it's just part of development.
Yeah.
Just keep telling myself that.
Okay.
Check everything's saved. Ooh.
Well, mission
Oh,
accomplished for
crashed.
that.
That's fun.
So this was technically the kind of the end of the boot camp process.
Oh shit! Really? That seems really fast, actually.
Yeah. So now pretty much all that's left is just kind of additional, like, I mean, we'll probably do one more main one of getting all the Twitch connection stuff to happen. But past that, theoretically, you'll probably still need to learn some more C# stuff, which I can teach.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna ask you if it would be worth it for me to do like offline, like off stream learning C# of just general programming.
Yes, I would highly encourage that. I also would highly encourage to read through the Godot C# manual, which
Oh
kind of,
God, not the white papers.
yeah, it actually is pretty good. Let's see. Yeah, so there's so I'll show this. Godot has very, very nice documentation where it explains all sorts of things. So like this is one that I've bookmarked for how to serialize game objects and like save them. So for basically making save games, because I always have to refer to this. In most of
Okay.
their documentation on like how to do something, there's a GDScript version, but then there's a tab that changes it to C#. So it gives you the code that you need. And so this will show you like you can kind of see the differences between GDScript and C#, where it pretty much does the same thing. It's just, different syntax. But the official Godot documentation does a lot of work showing you like anything you could possibly want to know of like, if I wanted to do like everything about like 3D nodes, it just explains every single thing you could possibly want to know about like working in 2D, and like there's a lot of things that I should sit down and actually like read in here, just because like there's so many things I have not actually read.
Fake nerd.
Yeah, it usually comes down to like, how the fuck do I do this? And then I go search Google, and then it just links back into here somewhere, and I'm like, oh, I didn't know that was in here.
All roads lead back to the good Godot docs.
Yeah, but yeah, this I'll send you the link to this to peruse. But this is pretty much the source of truth for most things Godot. I think there's even a section in here that talks about like what are the differences between like things to consider, but that are different between like GDScript and C#, as well as some considerations of things that are different between regular C#, like you'd write a program on a computer like in like Visual Studio like regular, versus Godot's specific implementation of certain things.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'd highly encourage you to read through this. And like there's a search in this, so like if you want to know like, I don't know, saving games or like rendering things or whatever, you can pretty much just search it in here and you'll find it. Or if you know how to search Google and tell it to search docs.godotengine.org for a specific type of thing, that's useful. And unironically, I will also suggest any sort of random little question of like, how the hell do you do this in Godot? ChatGPT actually is very knowledgeable as well. Because
Okay.
unfortunately, we live in an era where internet search is practically fucking useless nowadays. So there are many questions that you cannot find answers to on regular Google anymore. But ChatGPT, unfortunately, kind of it is both the cause and effect of this.
I've kind of
ChatGPT,
like avoided integrating AI into my life like that, like using ChatGPT on a regular basis. But the more and more things go, the more and more I seem to need to start using it.
unfortunately, that is how the world works now with
Yeah.
trying to find information. There's a dumb way and a smart way to use ChatGPT and other AI things. The dumb way is to copy paste what it says. The smart way is to ask questions and then have it explain things to you, and then you go and verify those things that it's telling you. Because the way you have to think about things like ChatGPT is they're not an answer machine. They are basically a, hey, person I know, do you know about this thing? And they go, oh yeah, this thing. And then they like talk about it, and it's like, they might have some of their facts wrong because they don't really, they don't really know everything, but they'll give you a good general idea of where to start searching.
Okay, yeah.
So and that is always the mistake that people make, is they think it's a source of truth. It's not. It's a source of bullshit, but it's a source of bullshit that you can interrogate and say, hey, I'm trying to do this. Here's my code. What the fuck is wrong with it? And then it can look at it and say, oh, I think it might be here. And then you can look at it and then change it. And you say, nope, that didn't fix it. And then it goes, okay, well, maybe try this. Effectively,
very much like how you would be talking to a coworker.
Yes. No, that is the correct way that you're supposed to use these tools. Is you talk to AI as if you're like going back and forth with somebody, but then you don't have to waste another person's actual time of asking dumb questions. Because I know I ask tons of dumb questions that I could go bother people I know about, but they're not always, primed and ready to answer my dumb questions. AI is. And, it'll bullshit. It'll make up stuff. But generally, if I say like, hey, how do I do this very weird specific thing that I can never remember how to do off the top of my head, but I know what it is and I know it when I see it, I can ask it and then it shows me an example and I go, okay, right, that's how you do it. And I've even had to use that for some things of where online there was no consistent consensus on like what exactly a specific thing Godot did, like on like in at the engine level. I forget exactly what I was trying to find, but there's no consensus on just like searching it on Google of, hey, does Godot implement this thing, or does Godot work like this? There's no answers, and there was mostly just people arguing about it of like it does or doesn't. And I'm like, okay, well, this isn't helpful. And I don't have the time to sit through and read through Godot's actual source code to determine it for myself. And so I asked ChatGPT and I said, hey, does Godot implement this thing? Because I need it to do this. And then I asked it also, and can you provide reference in like from the Godot source code of where you're finding this information to back up whatever your answer is? And it was able to do that. And it said, yes, in this file on this line, it does this or it doesn't do this. And then I can take that information, go to their GitHub, look at their source code, and confirm, yes, that line of code is the same there, and that does make sense, and it does do that. So it does do this. So much time saved instead of arguing with dumb people online.
Yeah, that sounds significantly better.
Yeah. As much as I don't like the AI overlords, that is kind of the way it has to be now, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But it's
you'll accept the AI overlord someday.
It's useful if you know how to use it right. And it's awful if you don't know how to use it right, is the best way to put it.
Like any tool.
Yep. But yeah, I highly recommend reading through the documentation, and then like obviously we'll probably do like one or two more streams of continuing on this, but I think you should have at least will have the basic knowledge required to then start learning on your own and tinkering on your own and discovering things on your own.
Sweet. Yeah, I feel like a lot of information gained on this stream alone, especially like now that we're putting things together. So yeah, definitely feel almost already there as far as
Yeah.
tinkering around on my own.
Mm-hmm. Because yeah, like I mean, even just like what we did today, it's like, yeah, that's like fucking 50% of my actual VTuber program is checking if something is set to a certain value and then interpolate animations, and that's it. And then it's just lots of that. And the more you layer on, the more complex it looks and, you know, feels, and it has more depth to it. But really, it all comes down to layering animations.
Yeah, all the animations there. Is this button being pushed? Okay, do this. Easy.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, thank you again. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I gotta get running, but I appreciate your time.
Yep. All right.
All right, peace.
See you around. Adios.